well, this first car we're standing here by it is a 2017, and it's a Shelby GT350, but it's the R version, which means it's a limited car, really made for racing, road racing. It has some special features like the carbon fiber, big wing on the back, and the carbon fiber wheels. It's a back seat delete car, and it's numbered, and it's 876 is the number. So it's a very basic thing. There's no power seats and no extra weight there. It's strictly built for going fast, so that's why it has a special sticky tires, which are so sticky if you go over any kind of gravel surface, they'll just embed into the tires.
I see that.
Yes. So you got to be careful. Like when we came off of that gravel road up there, you see these are the little rocks that came off the tires, and they just collect. That's how. So when you go out on the road up the driveway, you got to be careful not to go too fast. Otherwise, you'll be flinging rocks all over the place. Now this other one here next to it, this red one, that's a 2008. Started as a GT500, and we had that one converted to Super Snake by Shelby of Vegas, and this car was bought down here in Sarasota, actually in Venice, and we made a contract with Shelby of Vegas to have it converted. This car is number 197, which means it's the 197th converted GT500. But incidentally, that 197 is kind of an interesting number because the platform for the 05 to 09 cars is S197.
Oh yeah. And it is one. It's number 197.
Right, so this, and that was not because I was able to pull strings and get that number from Shelby. That just happened. So that, and I did not see that until somebody pointed that out to me. So my good friends overseas, they made this DMV over in Iceland. They stamped out this plate for me, especially for this car. That's
nice.
Super Snake 197.
Very nice.
So
I'm going to go around this way so I can maybe get it not in the shade, or in the shade a little bit.
And
this is the one I like. This color.
Yeah, this is probably the hardest color to get at the time, and actually this car I got this one before I got the other one, and then I was going to pass this car on to friends of mine overseas. And then there was a problem getting it over there because of duties and other things. So I said, you know, that's kind of sucks. The only car that I would have loved to have from the get-go would be one of these, and then to give that up to some guy overseas. But although he was a good friend, so I went to Ford and asked if I could get another one in red, and they were able to pull that off. So we shipped both of these cars together to Vegas. This car happens to be, I asked if there would be consecutive numbers. He said no, the numbers are already been counted for. So,
right.
So you ordered this one that much before the other. So this one is the Shelby Super Snake number 156. Which makes it the 100.
And this is the same year. They're both the same year.
Very much the same year. This car happens to have been built in December of 07, and the other one is April of 08.
Okay.
So, but yet they're now the same
right.
model year. Yeah. So,
very cool.
So to me, I think I have to favor the red car. But the grabber orange.
Yeah, you know, like I said when I pulled up, I said I'm a big red guy. I love red cars, but I don't know, something about the about the orange.
This orange is a really a standout color, and it's so much part of what was done back in the late '60s, early '70s. This is pretty much identical color to the Boss 302 cars and the Machs. And and what I like about these cars is the fact that they look very much like those cars of that era. They did a very good job of I think, better than Camaro did with trying to make them look like a '69 Camaro. In the
right.
To me, they're not even close. But these.
Well, I could pretty much say that I don't think anybody else is going to have two Super Snakes
probably not.
And a 350 R car right here together. You're probably never going to see three of these unless you go to a car show and somebody has them lined up, but you're not going to see three parked in front of a house.
That would probably have to be a national Mustang
Yes.
Shelby show to get that.
All right, great. Thanks for sharing that.
Open exhaust.
Open headers. Sounds good.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. And you see it's a very high deb, and it's red lines at 9,000. It's a European style, sound, more of a European sounding car. Until I get my building finished, which is just about done. That's when you really need to check it out and get all my cars
Under one roof.
Yeah. So right now they're scattered about. Everything is the stuff that it was born with.
And this is a 56?
56. And it's an Oakland built car that comes from built in Oakland, California. So, and it came just the way you see it with the Continental kit. It's got the original.
And it's a convertible,
Yeah.
which is very cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's got the Continental kit on it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. See, when all these cars when they get cleaned up and they put them in that building, then we'll have something.
Pretty color, too.
Yeah, and it's very rare. This was not considered, a popular color. It was more, the older people, they like that because it was just their thing. But the modern people, young people that bought sports cars,
Sure, didn't like the color.
right? They would like the reds and the turquoise and the bright colors. So that's why there's only a handful of convertibles that got painted like that. And from what I have Yeah, there's just about all of them were manufactured in Oakland, California.
Okay.
Yeah, so that seemed to have been the source. If you wanted that color, if you were that crazy, then you had to go to California.
But the two-tone with the green and kind of almost a yellow is pretty interesting.
The laurel green and crocus yellow is what those colors were called. A factory named all colors names. They gave them names, but it's pretty. It has padded dash, which was kind of unusual, but it's radio delete.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yes, you're supposed to talk to the family instead of.
Yeah. They're not supposed to be, and they probably who likes that rock and roll stuff.
And where did this one come from? Where did you get this one? Was this done when you bought it?
No. I did this car. It came from a good friend of mine that this car came from, and he incidentally is a father of my neighbors. His son lives next door, and we're doing a lot of this stuff together. But I bought this car from Bob on his deathbed, literally, because he wanted me to have it and take care of it, and this car was painted and done probably about 30 years ago.
Well, that's a pretty color.
Yeah, and it's Inca silver, and it has.
Wow, is that pretty?
It's very unique in the sense that it's a dual 4-barrel car, so it's what they call a dual quad car.
Yeah.
And
oh, nice.
that makes it a little bit more desirable. Padded dash. Well, another thing it had was very unusual. You'll never find that. It had a vacuum ashtray.
Really?
Meaning that if you were smoking and you were dusting off your cigarette, you would dust it off into this little funnel, and then you would hit this lever, and that would create a suction. And it would put it in a glass jar that's up under right in there.
Wow, I've never seen that before.
And another thing, when you were done with your cigarette, you just drop it in there and do the same thing, and it would put it back.
And it would just suck it through.
Right, and of course, lack of oxygen would put it out in the jar. You wouldn't even have to crush it.
Wow.
Yeah, it was called a flame out, and that's what.
Flame out.
Yeah, flame out is what.
No way.
Yeah, so that's very rare.
Wow. Yeah. Gorgeous. That's a pretty car.
They offer this for 58 as well as an extremely limited. And I've only come across one of those back in the day, new old stock in a box. And I ended up selling it for some guy that had to have it. But like I said, this car was done many moons ago. And then there's this 55. It comes out of Arizona, Fountain Hill, Arizona, and it has totally never had any rust, but it was painted in 1986 on a rust-free car. It has power steering, power brakes, power pack, power window, power seat.
Wow.
It's got the ultronic eye, which is the automatic high beam. When you have the high beam on, it will lower the high beam down. And then bring it back up as the car passes.
Right.
Yeah, and that was an option that you would find.
That's amazing. They had that in 57.
Yeah.
Or 50. Is it 56? 55.
Yeah. And it was very rare on a passenger car. You would find it on Cadillacs, Oldsmobile Buicks, because that was a more expensive of a car. But apparently somebody that wanted, like the Chevys, but wanted the options. You can buy anything. You can get anything, and it was offered in the booklet. You can get that ultronic eye, and it has the Wonder Bar radio, the signal seeking radio.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it's got a lot of good stuff. And then there's this big old Eldorado, which
Wow.
Friends of mine.
Look at the bumper and the Jaguars on that. Wow, that is awesome.
This is what they would refer to as May West.
Yeah.
Bumper.
They call those Dagmars, right, on the front bumper?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know a little about some old cars.
And you know, here's an interesting fact about this car. This friend of mine from Sweden, he comes in twice a year, and he stays here about 3 months each given time in the fall, and then he comes, and then again in about February or so. And this is his daily driver.
Really?
And he goes up to Georgia and northern Florida, Daytona, and does swap meets and stuff in this car.
Really? And what year is this?
This is a 53 Eldorado Series 62, which makes it, they only built like 700 and odd units in the convertible version. So it shares a very same body style as the Oldsmobile Fiesta and the Buick Skylark. They're very similar in the styling. See, these cars, for instance, they have no vent post here.
Oh yeah.
So in other words, when this window is rolled down, there's nothing there, like on all other cars.
Yeah.
And they have this real dip line, and the windshield it's kind of a squashed, almost like they flipped it. You know, it's lower and then it's forward.
Very cool. Oh,
Yeah.
that's pretty.
Yeah, it's obviously a patina car. It's
Sure.
never ever been messed with, and these are the original Kelsey Hayes wheels that it came with, and so it's just unbelievable to see this guy. And I get he always calls me about a week before he gets ready, and I make sure I fire that for him, which is no big deal. I hook the battery up and get ready and put it outside the house. and he, because many times he comes very early, when he lands in Tampa in the middle of the night, and they get a Uber down here. And
What a cool story.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And then he's just on the road.
And he just on. So tell me about this one again. So
Yeah,
this is a Catalina.
Catalina, 1961. Catalina being the low end line of the Pontiacs for that era. It was you could get them with this extra equipment through the special parts and install it yourself with the Super Duty parts, which Mike Brecht did. He did all the engine work and everything that pertains to that. So it's essentially a Super Duty in the sense that the parts are correct, but Pontiac did not put out Super Duty as a complete package. You had to do that after the fact. So
Okay.
and he did the frame of restoration. I was just fortunate enough to be the guy that was trusted with his car and to take care of it like Mike did. We are going to take it. It has to be taken to the track once or twice just to give it a little bit.
Clear it out a little bit.
Clear it out and exercise it. But other than that, it's going to be kept in our controlled environment, so we can.
Right. So, like you said, it's not a street car.
No, it's not a street car, and it will always be trailered. And he did many races and did quite well with it. So he was very successful. And that man was just a stickler for accuracy and detail that like no other. This is probably one of the best cars I have ever had in my lifetime. And I had some nice cars, but the way Mike did this car, there's nothing that you can pick on. And
No, the interior is just gorgeous.
The interior happens to be a new old stock material that he found many years ago. And he did the restoration from '95 to 2005. And,
Okay.
So things are very accurate in this. He's got a lot of new old stock parts that he opted for, and he wanted everything to be perfect. And,
Right.
And it shows.
It is. It's gorgeous.
It's a beautiful
Very pretty car.
Yeah.
Well, awesome. It's an unexpected find here. I wasn't expecting to see this, but
I told you
a little bit. You
told
had
you
some.
I might-
You had some secrets for me.
There might be something that you might be interested in. Yeah.
That is very. Oh, that's so
There it
pretty.
Yeah.